대만 도시에서 정원 역할 및 식물에 의한 신체 생리적 반응입니다. 발표는 대만 내셔널 타이완 유니버시티 장춘엔 교수님의 발표가 있겠습니다. 장춘엔 교수님은 내셔널 타이완 유니버시티 원예 조경학과 교수님으로 재직 중이고 더 아웃도어 레크레이션 어소시에이션 오브 ROC 회장님이시며 더 저널 오브 랜드스케이프 아키텍처 편집국장님을 맡고 있습니다. 이어서 발표를 듣도록 하겠습니다.
I'm very happy to have this opportunity to share our study results and understandings about how the benefits of contact with nature. So let me share my screen first. First of all, we would like to know what about the benefits. What kind of benefits and in what kind of environment can we get the healthy effect when we contact with nature? So I think, as you know, that more and more population live in the urban areas. To the 2050, more than 70% of the world population will live in the urban environment. The urban environment provides a lot of the benefits. It's convenient, it's productive, it's energetic. However, the urban settings also give a high stress daily life, like the noise, the crowding problem, and the speed and the pace of the lifestyle all gives us the mental disease such as anxiety, stress, and fatigue problems. All right. So there are some evidence that very solid evidence about for example, this one is the mortality. We're talking about if you're living in the urban city, the death rate of the differences in between the rich person and the low income person are similar. If the urban greenery is higher, that means if the city that you live has a better green contact opportunities, then the death rate of different income people are similar to each other. It won't be influenced by different income. Another example reported in the scientific reports that's very, very interesting. They collect 341 senior persons' brain scan and related to the brain scan with the address where they live. And they use 1 kilometer as a diameter to measure what's the land cover, what's the environment that those senior persons are living in their daily life. So they found if you live close to the forest area, your amygdala is healthier. So it comes to a report that living near a forest keeps your amygdala healthier. I think that's very important, especially the amygdala is related to the emotion and the memory. That's a very important mental related brain area. So there are more and more the movies or the audio, the songs that helps people to release their daily stress life. So, for example, the movie, as I remember, is named "I'm Off Them," talking about the one high-tech or business office worker. He cannot bear anymore that he think he need to have a release from his daily working. So he told his colleagues that he's going to off for a while, and then he go to the trail, walking on the trail for 2 months to experience the different lifestyle from his daily working. stress. So I think I noticed that the green in the city is not only a kind of a decoration of landscape, but it's more like a public health infrastructure for a city. Even the doctors in Scotland can prescribe the nature for the patients who has mental stress. They ask them to go to the nature, to contact with the nature, to release and to get cure effect of their disease. In this situation, that makes researchers start to think about what's the content in the nature that can heal person, that can provide the healthy benefits. So we start to think about our environment. It's not only arrangement of the space, but the ecosystem services in the environment can provide the benefits to the human health. So biodiversity itself is go through the culture goods, cultural values, and also the human well-being to the human health, or indirectly, like the biometics in the soil indicators or the arrangement of the forest will affect your mental reactions. Another study from Germany that's very interesting, talking about how the plants and bird species richness and abundance, and how close and how high is the opportunities that the urban residents can contact with nature, are related to the mental health and the physical health. So let's give us another evidence that the ecosystem is kind of a service system for the human's health. For example, United Kingdom, they have a long history, and the farmers are taking care of their hedgerows, because the hedgerows not only serve as a property line, but also provide a very good habitat for different seasons and for different wildlife. So more than 60 species are living in the hedgerows, and the hedgerows provide the place for them to live, the food for them to eat, and the place for the next generations. So overall, let's learn from the previous studies that the green area in the urban settings to provide psychological and physiological benefits, like studies have proved that the well-being, happiness, satisfaction, and the preference are influences by the green infrastructures of the city environment. And the mental flow experience and mindfulness, the more advanced psychological responses are also influences by the nature. And the very basic emotion, memory, attention, and stress of our psychological reactions are tested in many studies. And then gradually, researchers are also testing about the cardiovascular effect and the neurological reactions in different settings. Therefore, allow me to just go through some theories very quick. Those theories are the proposed concept to explain why people get healthy benefits from contact with nature. I think the most popular one is the attention restoration theory, proposed by Kaplan. They think the attention restoration is the people that can restore attention after being in the nature. So the natural environment provides 4 different characteristics, include let you feel being away, extend, fascination, and compatibility. And with that kind of the features that provide you an opportunity to get your attention back, restore your attention ability back for you to continue your work. So I think that's a very famous and very popular used theory to understanding the healthy benefits from contact with nature. The second one is the stress recovery theory proposed by Dr. Roger Ulrich. he think one's cognitive processes, including emotional and physiological processes, can be improved and benefits from viewing the natural environment to release the stressful situation and get a recovery from the stress. The third is most being used indicator is the preference, and the preference matrix was proposed by Kaplan and Kaplan. I think the preference include how people related to the environment information, the trend that involves two major categories of human needs, like understanding and exploration. So when you feel and experience the understanding and exploration, go to the second domain, focus on the degree of the inference required to extract the needed information. So the more the information and the information that you get more suitable to your purpose, you have a preference about how you like the environment. And the prospect refuge theory is a famous one that is a very evolution-based, that human needs a place to feel safe, but also be able to observe. So prospect and refuge to meet one's needs will be environment that has higher preference. And similar to the evolution theory, savanna theory sees people are genetically like the savanna, like the trees and scope, which is basic in your gene, because those environments provide opportunities to see, and but also to the safe concern in regards to the open space and the shade. And flow experience defined by Shakzana Mahai, who think if you go through some kind of activities with some challenges and your abilities, if they go in a fit match together, then you have opportunities to get the happy feelings. They call it the flow experience. And the biophilia is proposed by the Wilson, Dr. Wilson, and he think genetically the human beings are deeply connected with the nature world because of the generations by generations. So basically, we have the feelings that we like to contact with nature. So the biophilic design proposes to encourage the using nature elements and the processes as design methods to improve human connections to the nature. The theories that have been proposed for us to think about why and in what kind of situation that we like to contact with nature. And as a landscape designer or a landscape planner, how we concern about the environmental, ecological functions, and also concern about the nature's futures for the natural environment to provide the effects of the attention restoration, stress recovery, or increase the preference, the well-being, and provide the satisfaction for people to feel relaxed and doing activities and to get the flow experience in the natural environment. And basically, some theory just tells that from a very basic gene and evolution concept, that people come from nature and people like to contact with nature. Now let's start to discuss about the innovation studies in landscape and human health. As we know, there are so many studies and theories that give us the evidence and understanding and concept of how we can get benefits from nature. From the biophilia theory, prospect refuge theory, talking about the evolution concept of why people need to contact with nature, why people love to contact with nature, talking about the benefits of well-being, happiness, all these kind of mental benefits, also the physiological benefits. But the problem is we start thinking about how we measure and what kind of instrument or what kind of the device that can help us to understanding why and how much, in what kind of level can we get benefits from the nature. I think allow me to give you an example from a report of the National Geographic. In this report, it's talking about the spiritual states of the Japanese monk. He is training himself under the waterfall, and they measure the brain activations of the monk, and several other studies measure the brain activities of the high-tech, high-stress office workers, comparing their experience when they has the opportunity to the outdoor and have the outdoor education activities. Those people compared to their daily works. So the first instrument is the biofeedback instruments. Biofeedback instruments has been popularly used for years. See the stream or see the seizure. How those scenes influences your perception and react from your body with the indicators like the EEG, we call it the brain wave, or the muscle tension, EMG, or the finger temperature, or the skin conductance, or other kind of physiological responses. The machine, it helps to record very minor changes of your body indicators. So for example, if you're getting nervous, the blood volume of the fingertips are lower. So stressful, or how tension you are in that kind of situation. So we use this instrument in the therapeutic landscape studies. We use this kind of the instruments to show different types of the environmental settings and ask the respondents to imagine if you were in that kind of situation, how you feel, how you react to the environment. For example, like you're sitting in the park, how you feel the stress level by measuring the muscle tension, by measuring your brain wave, by measuring the skin conductance to see how your reaction to the settings that you are in. The second instrument that I would like to introduce is the fMRI machine. The fMRI machine is getting more and more popular, or more and more available for the social science or humanity science to measure the psychological responses with the brain activities, which measure and testing the relationship between the mind and brain. So how you feel and how your reaction in the brain activities will be scanned and to record it. For example, if you are thinking about something, or design or planning some proposal, you use your prefrontal cortex to think about and synchronize, to think about how to make the plan more complete and applicable. So in the process of your thinking, the blood goes through the brain. Let me give you an example for the depth cues of the environment. So depth cues theoretically are related to the prospect concept, to the stress level, to the environmental aesthetics. So this is the real landscape that I took from mainland China, the Guiyang International Airport. As you can see, the layers of the mountain gives you a very good example about the depths of the landscape. And also from the United Kingdom, Williams, he drew the mountain with different layers. As you can see, he kind of represent the beauty of the nature landscapes. And also Garden Museum in the Suzhou as the garden that built with the artificial arrangement, but to represent the nature scenes with the depth cues. This is in the Pennsylvania Berkman State Forest Park in the Pennsylvania, United States. People to go to the environment and have their experience with contact with nature. So as you can see, we use the simulation video to represent different ways to approach your goal with different pathways, and the different sequence and different depth experience in the while you're approaching the target, which is free to approach or being regulated to approach. They provide different experiences. With this kind of study and simulation, we can measure the psychological and physiological responses. Psychological responses with the emotions, like the arousal and the pleasure level of the emotions. So with the permeable hierarchical depth cues, they provide astonished and delighted, happy and arousal, and a little bit tension and a little bit relaxed experience. Different reactions to the frontal lobe, to the parietal lobe, and occipital lobe, and also the temporal lobe. That is a high-level visual process. So from the occipital lobe, that you gain the basic signal, and with a high-level visual process, and also go to the spatial vision, and also the aesthetic appreciation of in the frontal lobe. So I think that gives an example about how our brain react to different scenes, different landscape arrangement, and the psychological and the reactions also tells us why we have the preference and emotions, or the stress release, or the attention recoveries by the information from the environment. Okay, another instrument that we used is the attention test. For example, this study we used to test the awareness of street trees under attention. As you can see, the upper row is the street scenes from the new Taipei city in Taiwan, and the second row is a simulated street landscape with street trees. In this study, as you can see on the table 1, we use the no tree scene, minimum awareness tree scene, moderate awareness, and heightened awareness. Let me explain what's the minimum, moderate, and heightened awareness. In the minimum awareness, we only show the trees with a very fast 0.03 seconds that you are not able to aware according to the physiological mechanism. And moderate awareness, we just leave the street trees for you to see. And heightened, we ask the respondents that you try to name the species of the street trees. So they have to very focus on what kind of the tree, and they have it's a kind of method to force them to aware there is street trees in those landscape scenes. So we test the before and after digit span backward test. What is digit span backward test? Is we give you a string of number like 3516, and you need to remember and repeat in reverse, like 3516. Then you need to answer 6153. If it goes twice, if you fail, then you start on the digit number. So as you can see, the digit number is average is from between 6 to 7 before that, and after that is 6 to 8. And as you can see, the heightened awareness does increase the abilities to remember and improve the attention. And the no tree, that means the city urban landscape, that decrease the ability of their attention. So it's very scientific attention score evaluated by these methods. And as you can see, minimum, moderate, and heightened street trees do give the significant improvement on your attention test. So this is the tools that we use, popularly used in the attention test, and is scientifically being used, adapted to measure the attention level in contact with nature. And the third is the fMRI machine that we use to compare different types of the brain activities with the city scene, mountain scene, forest scene, and the water scenes. As you can see, I don't have time to go to the detail, but I would like to introduce the article that we published in Landscape and Urban Planning. We use the functional magnetic resonance imaging to analyze brain region activities when viewing different types of the landscapes. And as you can see, I'll go to our findings very quick. That our findings is the water landscape to provide benefits to the actives of the singular gyrus. And singular gyrus is related to the pain processing, emotion, memory, and self-regulation. And self-regulation and memory are all related to the attention. It's a very important area, brain area. So as a designer, I would like to go through very quick. Is the designer, we are thinking about the future of the environment after the design. The image itself is a very useful tool for the designer to think about their design. So how can we put this kind of the nature in our design? So we start to think about, when we talk with the residents of the communities, how they like and what they like, what kind of landscape they like. And we also introduce a Health Cloud app that you can download from the Apple Store to answer a questionnaire from the Apple Watch and record the environmental information and upload to the cloud. So I would like to say in the future, we can use the AI and the big data to analyze the benefits that we contact with nature. And so from my talk, as you can see, from very basic landscape scene to the fMRI, to collect the activities of the brain, and to create environment that makes us opportunities to improve our environment, that get us opportunities to understand how we can get benefits from the nature environment. So this is overall, I think it's too small for me to explain, but I just want to show you the brain is affected by our nature environment that we contact. Final stage I would like to mention, we are not what we eat, we are also what we see, and we are also what we act. Our daily environment to influence us to our health. Thank you very much.